Okay, hello all of you. Thank you all of you to joining such a large number, and it gives us a lot of delight that whenever we inform you, you join. And this is our second webinar in series of smart strategies. We are arranging some series of smart strategies in the sense that how we can use those resources for our teaching practices, online teaching, which every one of us is involved. We have one good reputed school in Indore, that is a GD Goenka school. And today this session will be taken up by the principal of that school and some of the teachers who are practicing these things. And the focus of today's session would be the primary classes as well. So अभी तक हमको ये request मिल रही थी कि भाई primary classes को हम कैसे engaging करें. So today I am sure that you will have a wonderful session on that as well. और ये जो हमारा session है ये would be on Facebook also. So आप वहाँ से भी देख सकते हैं. We'll upload on YouTube as well. तो प्राइमरी क्लासेस के ऊपर भी बात होगी, एंड देन विल आल्सो टॉक अबाउट थ्योरी क्लासेस एज वेल. सो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ चैलेंजेस एंड बट देयर इज ऑलवेज न्यू थिंग टू लर्न बिकॉज इट इज सो इवॉल्विंग टेक्नोलॉजी. अब जब टेक्नोलॉजी की बात आती है तो देयर इज सो मच टू लर्न, देयर इज नो एंड टू दैट. सो आज का जो हमारा सेशन है वो दीज वंडरफुल टीचर्स वुड बी टेकिंग अप, and they are doing it, and it is not that we are calling some expert who is just teaching you like that, but they are practicing it in their daily classes. So you will be finding a lot of practicality in what they tell you. They would be sharing their own experience so out with them, because they are doing it in day to day and they are facing those problems which any case anybody would be facing, and how they have been solving it and to what extent they have been able to solve. वो सारी चीजें you'll finding it extremely useful for your session. So that is how this session is going to be. For the principal ma'am, Mr. Jayashree Patel ma'am would be joining. In the meantime, I would just request one by one you panelists just tell about yourself. And Kamakshi ma'am, we start from you. Which classes are you taking? Which subjects are you taking? How long you have been in teaching line? That's it. And then we pass on so that we can engage these participants who have joined in time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. A very good evening to all of you. I'm a teacher in GD Goenka since past 7 years. And in this field of teaching, I've been there for more than 15 years now. I'm a primary coordinator and I teach grade 3, 4, and 5. And my subjects are environmental study.
That's so nice. That's
Thank you so
nice,
much, sir.
Thank you. And we are honored to have you here in the panel, ma'am. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure that
Pleasure.
these teachers, all of here, around just 487 teachers right now, they all will be benefited across the country. And there are some teachers from abroad also. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Then the next we have panelists, Madam Ritu Adhikari, ma'am. Ma'am, if you can share something with about yourself, please.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. This is Mrs. Ritu Adhikari on this side. A very pleasant evening to all of you present over there at the other end. So I am working in GD Goenka school past 2 years, but I have experience of various schools like Birla School in Bombay and Xavier's in Nainital. I'm basically from Nainital, so I've been working in those British time schools. I was working there. I have an experience of 20 years in teaching line. And I'm very proud to be associated with GD Goenka school with its methodology and the technology we have been using here. And at this time, when this pandemic happened, that has really benefited all of us in using this technology and helping our kids and other staff too. Thank you so much.
To attendees, I would just like to say to come out and share something. It also needs a lot of commitment from the panelist side also. And they all are so good teachers that they have come and they want to share with you their knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you, and we are honored to have you, ma'am, Ritu ma'am. Now the next panelist with us is Miss Nidhi Srivastava, ma'am. Ma'am, can you just tell about yourself so that we can.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nidhi Srivastava, and I am associated with the GD Goenka past 1 year. I am teaching social studies, the subject to the grades like 6, 7, and 8, and I have around 5 years of teaching experience. I come from a different background. I am into this profession since 5 years, and I'm truly loving it. With GD Goenka, the best part is we keep on researching about various technologies. We are too much into it that we keep on finding out the ways through which we can make our class very interactive, interesting, more knowledge giving at the same time, keeping the present situation in time. So there are a few things that we would be sharing with you all, and I hope that you all benefit from it and can use it in your daily day-to-day teaching and learning process. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, ma'am. It is so nice to have you. If the panelists, if we can start the session, Jayashree ma'am can join in the meantime.
Okay,
Thank you so
Jayashree
much.
ma'am will take time.
Yeah.
Her message is there.
Yeah.
So I would like to share that I'm taking higher grades. I'm senior coordinator there in the school, and I'm taking higher grades from 9th to 12th. And we have been started actually. It was all of a sudden everybody knows that this happened, and one fine day it was announced that there is a lockdown, Janta curfew, and we thought that okay, it is just a matter of one day. It's fine. We'll go to our school soon. But then we never knew that this would happen. So next week it was announced that there is a 21 days lockdown. So this situation, when it came in front of us, so we had to take some decision. So we all decided that we cannot sit idle, and we started making our assignments. So one first week, like from say 21st, we started making our assignments. The assignments were not a simple assignments. They were in the form through which the children, because we had our final exams just got over, and even students did not have any of the resources, any learning material, nothing with them. So their final exam had got over, and they were waiting for the new session to start from 25th March. So, and when this lockdown happened, there was nothing with them. There was not even a single notebook, not even a single textbook was there with the students. Now it was completely on our shoulders how to handle this situation. So our team, we all decided, we started conducting our meeting. We came to know about several apps, and then we came to know about Zoom. So we started our first session with the teachers on Zoom, conducting meetings. And then we planned out. We all planned out right from nursery, right from KG or 1 till grade 12, how to handle this situation. And then we fastened our belts, and we came up with this, that we are going to conduct the online sessions very soon. So first week of March, the last week of March, or the first week of lockdown, say from 25th March till 1st April. So we made, through mails, through emails, we used to send our worksheets, our links, our videos, and assignments which we made. And then we decided that for senior grades, for 9 to 12, we should start our online session. So we started it from 1st April. We started. Sir, ma'am is there. Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, your audio is mute. Okay, there are some issues. So I'll continue. So we started our session. We started our online teaching session of senior grades from 9th to 12th from 1st April. And then we decided that we will not have, because Zoom did not allow more than 40 minutes session in a day. So we decided we should, at that time, we did not have the other apps. We mainly had Zoom. We were exploring other apps. Later on, we switched on to other apps, but we started with Zoom, as GT Goenka Delhi had started with Zoom, and they instructed us that we have to use a Zoom. So we started our online sessions. Teachers, they prepared well. We made few rules, which we call them Zoom etiquettes, and which we shared with parents. We shared, and then we asked our students to be in their uniform, and we gave them the timetable immediately within. Okay, so, ma'am is there.
You can complete your
good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. There was a technology glitch, and so I was struggling with it. So this is the new normal, struggling with technology. Anyway, we all are evolving. We all are learning. So yes, sir, you have already begun, I think.
Yeah, ma'am, you can start now. You can continue with that.
All right.
Yeah, please.
All right. First of all, on behalf of GD Goenka School, I'd like to welcome you all to this beautiful webinar full of teachers.
Yes.
So I always feel teachers are the core to, school, the learning, the teaching. So I hope what we share today impacts you, which in turn is going to impact, thousands and thousands of students. So that is the idea. And with it, I'll quickly go and share my screen, which is full of things, but I'll again work on that.
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, great. So teaching the new normal. Now we keep hearing this word new normal several times. And this has become our life now, to stay inside the house, to deal with all the things in the house and not going anywhere, trying to, be safe, trying to do everything from home. At the same time, keep ourselves sane and happy. That's very important. And when it comes to school, when it comes to children, it is a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge. So I'd like to begin that whenever there is a challenge, we should always look at it as an opportunity. So our mindset has to be that every challenge has an opportunity. And as you can see in this beautiful picture, a path has been created in this dense forest that anybody can tread and move past this. So while we have the challenge of teaching from home, we would also take it as an opportunity to learn. So I think we all should have this mindset and move ahead with the new normal. Okay, so coming back to online teaching, what is the planning that we need to do? So when we want to plan, the very first thing that we have to think about is students. Students are heart of any school. Students are, they guide us to what we have to do. And so all our planning has to be around the students, which is very, very important. Keeping in mind the stakeholders. And who are the stakeholders? The teachers, all of us, play a very, very important role. After all, the teachers are the face of the school. You all are going to speak on behalf of the school, teach on behalf of the school. So you are very, very important part. Your role is very, very important. And school management is the other stakeholder, because they have to get everything going and finding a system of teaching online. So I will talk about each of the stakeholders in detail, but just for now, the school management and the parents. Parents now are going to play even more important role because they are at home with the students, and they have to facilitate their learning along with the teachers. So parents are also equally important in this student-centered online teaching learning. So while we are planning, there are several points that we need to consider. The first one is that when we are thinking of online teaching, it requires students and teachers to be online at the same time, in real time, which is a big challenge. Then lessons, activity happen at a scheduled time. Obviously, when you have a scheduled time, which is planned according to the students, according to the parents, according to us teachers, The scheduling is done according to that. Activities and teaching happen in real time for all students. So while I'm teaching from my device, the student is going to listen from his device. So it's all happening together at a real time. Shared whiteboards, virtual classroom, online exam. So how do we go about this online? These are all points that we may want to think about. And as you know, that students learn at their own pace, and they can even learn when they are offline. So some of the digital tools are very helpful in self-directed learning, where student can also learn offline. And the teachers share material, task, tests via email, web, SMS, WhatsApp. That's what we've been doing in our stages, which we are going to discuss here at GD Goenka. And students also complete tasks by a given deadline. So message boards, discussion groups, video-based tasks for response. All these are some points that we want to consider when we are trying to plan. And that's what usually at GD we all are discussing most of the time, how to solve the challenges that we are going to face, and how do we replicate a real school in a virtual school. So coming back to the student, we have to schedule according to their ages, their classes. How many hours in a day do you think is right for a small child or a big child? And as you know, it has become a paradox now, because screen time is something that, most parents and most teachers say, no, you have to be away from screen. And in this online teaching learning, it has become a paradox, because we want them to be on the screen so that teaching learning can happen. However, we wanted to be careful as to how we do it, especially when we start initially. So we actually, when we started imparting online education, we did it in several stages. And with me, as you would have already been introduced to Mrs. Kamakshi Singh, our primary coordinator, Mrs. Ritu Adhikari, who's our senior coordinator, as well as Nidhi, who's going to give you a little demonstration of the lessons that she's taught online. I would like them to share, some of our planning schedule with all of you. So till classes 5, I'll begin with Kamakshi. Kamakshi, could you please throw light on how we went from stage 1 to stage 2?
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. A very good evening to all of you. To begin with, I will explain the first stage, that was to bring everyone under one roof, be it students, parents, teachers, coordinators, and head of departments. For this, official class WhatsApp groups were created, and interactive worksheets, activities, presentations, websites, textbook images, videos, and story links were mailed to the parents. In our second stage, we started online classes for grades 3 to 5. We started with 2-minute session each, where one session was of main subject like maths, English, Hindi, or EVS, and the other was an activity class of dance, music, or art. And there was a break of 20 minutes between these two sessions. For nursery and KG, we sent offline videos, and activities were planned age appropriate to keep child effectively occupied, and there's a flexibility of day and time to conduct these with the child at their pace. For grades 2 and 1, we had a combination of offline and online videos created by our teachers. In these grades, for subjects like English, Maths, Hindi, EVS, offline videos were sent, and for dance, art, music, and storytelling, online videos were delivered by our teachers. Now I come to keeping students engaged and parents involved in this new form of online learning. We did various activities like quiz, experiments, collage and poster making, bingo, which is like tambola, fireless cooking. And I'll just quickly go through few of these activities. So the first activity was like show and tell. For a child, there is nothing more exciting than bringing in his favorite book or toy or a photo of their pet and telling their classmates about it. So children are encouraged to say a sentence or two about their object. Coming to the second activity, which was like scavenger hunt. Indoor scavenger hunts are a great boredom buster and indoor activity for kids. It's a great way to burn off energy while hunting around the house for items on the list, like collect 2 yellow things from your house or look for something soft, etc. In such activity, parents are equally involved with the child. Then we had another activity, which was like making bird feeders, putting bird feeders in their balconies or gardens, draw birds to where children can easily watch them. So such activities connect children to nature. So these were some of the activities that we did with our children during our online classes. Now I will come and tell you about, now I'll tell you about how students share their given assignments with us. They either mailed us or sent us WhatsApp images. We even provided answer key to the parent child's work. In the end, I would to quote the words of Christopher. So let's attend logic to their day and ours. Thank you, everyone, and over to you, Jayashree, ma'am. I'm done, ma'am.
Okay. I hope I am audible to all of you. There was again some technology issue. Thank you, Kamakshi, so much for telling us about your primary wing. And I'll move on next to Ritu ma'am, who's going to speak about how she scheduled grade 6 to grade 12 in both stages 1 and stages 2. Yes, Ritu ma'am.
Thank you, Jayashree ma'am. Good evening again to everybody present here. To engage students who are not in the room during a class, the online course is a mixed spurts of discussions, collaboration, video and audio clips, and video lectures too. It is a blend of teaching and learning tools to make it an active learning classroom online. So it was a challenge in front of us. So how do we engage children? Because they are at home. So we, in stage 1, we made interactive worksheets and teaching capsules. We, for 9 to 12, again, we had the worksheets and learning material. As I discussed earlier, that the previous first week, from the last week of March, we had to send all these worksheets, assignments, links, videos, and we also had PDF of chapter notes, because the children, they did not have any resource material with them. So we had to provide them the chapter notes. So all thanks to CBSE, all thanks to new technology, all thanks to several apps which are there, we downloaded. We also made our own PPTs because we had the resources. So the teachers made their own PPTs and then they shared with the students. And that made things very easy for them. So in the beginning, we had like for grade 6 to 8, because they are still small. So we had online classes of 2 subjects with 1 hour duration, and there was a break in between. But for the senior classes, we extended it to 1.5 hours, and 2 sessions of 2 subjects we had in a day. And that was all conducted previously, it was all conducted in Zoom. So we had interactive sessions through virtual whiteboards we used. We also collaborated our documents. We also shared our recordings and animated videos and the PPTs which we made. And not only that, we also tested our students through MCQs, through quizzes, through oral tests and other things. Collaborative efforts were taken by both the teachers as well as students. We also asked our students to make PPTs. And today, you know that this generation is far ahead of us. They made beautiful PPTs and we gave them the topic, they made PPTs and then they shared. We also asked them that if suppose a topic is given to you, can you prepare your lesson? Yes, to a great extent, our students, they tried. They were given a topic and they tried and they made their PPTs and that was a peer learning. And that was really wonderful and we all enjoyed. And then we also asked them, activity was given, for example, in science, we asked them to do an experiment and make a video. So they did experiment at home, whatever was available, and they made video and they shared, which was really wonderful because this we did not do in school. This was only done sitting at home and experimenting after the teacher had explained the experiment to them, and they practically did it, which was really wonderful to see. So assignments, worksheets, links, and PDF of chapter notes were shared with them. And then we also took help of the, CBSE, they have their own NCT, they have their own apps, the Diksha app and Swayam and all that. Several apps are there. Initially, we faced issues with network, we faced issues with absenteeism, but gradually it was all sorted out. We also requested parents to upgrade their data packs. So now it is very smooth. We have many, like ma'am is going to explain what next we did. That is in third stage. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ritu. Thank you so much. So the stage 2, so as you see from stage 1 to stage 2, the transition we made was a little slow. The idea was not to bombard the teachers as well as the students with specific work that, you have to do this within this stipulated time. We were a little flexible in terms of our lesson planning, in terms of our syllabus modification, because as you know that this was completely an uncharted area. And we just let ourselves explore and see. And as, a lot of my faculty members, they all came up with beautiful, innovative ideas, especially in stage 2. And as now many of them are comfortable with technology, we have moved on to stage 3, where we are using a specific online platform like the Google Classroom to deliver our classes. So stage 3 is a little heavy, you can say, because specific training session was conducted and each and every teacher was trained into using the platform, and how to use and how to do different technology was done more intensively. However, all this is done especially with the student kept in mind. So the student is the heart of our school, and we kept in mind the students' learning. The student is important and the organization is equally important. The school management really have a very important role to play here, especially when you are thinking of what is the content delivery platform that you would like to use. I'm sure many of you would have heard of, different, I would say Zoom and Google Meet, Google Classrooms, G Suite, Microsoft Teams, and many other new educational technology is emerging. And in fact, we had a lot of technology people approaching us. So the selection of content delivery platform was something that we did with the help of our organization. At the same time, we also thought of, the school management thought of teacher welfare and support. We kept a very transparent system where the teachers can talk about their concerns or talk about, how they would like to deliver things. And we also supported them at every juncture. So teacher welfare and support is also very, very important role that the organization has to work on. The third one is setting parents' expectations. At the moment, as you know, that even parents are very confused as to what has to be done, whether my child is going to learn online or not learn. So we also had, the teachers were constantly in touch with parents through WhatsApp groups and other mediums, so that they know that what is it that they are to expect out of this online teaching learning. You know, several rules had to be explained to them in terms of the etiquette that the child must follow during an online classroom, both to students as well as parents. And like teachers, the parents were also given a more transparent system where they can share their feedback, they can share their problem, call us, communicate with teachers through WhatsApp and other ways, our school ERP system, emails, etc. And of course, the teacher, like we've already shared, like many of the teachers emerged on their own. We build their capacity by getting them trained to use various technology. And while we thought of technology, we also did some backward planning. What this means is, for example, if I have to explain, if I have to, let's say, explain a chapter, then what is the best technology to use for explaining a chapter? If I have to use a technology to say, I want to ask questions, I want to test my student, then what is the best technology to test my student? Is it Google Forms, it is quiz, or is it video recording, portfolios, etc.? So we did a backward planning in terms of what are the best tools to use for specific teaching learning practices. Then virtual class lesson planning. So the lesson also had to be planned. There were several things which was very, very difficult to explain online. So we modified the lesson according to that. And we made, in fact, a lot of lessons were more self-directed. We encouraged children to, watch the videos, understand what the lesson was, and then answer questions. So that really helped in the planning, that we kept all these different tools to help them explain better than when you are actually in the school. And of course, the teachers themselves, amongst themselves, and with me and with the middle management and senior management, were always connected. They were motivated and inspired by each other. We all inspired each other into doing this and not losing our cool, sitting at home taking lessons. The parent orientation, we did a parent orientation for online classes. The netiquettes, cyber security, etc., was also shared by the teachers, and communication about the online class schedule, homework, etc., is given to them through WhatsApp as well as email, and their feedback, suggestion, and appreciation was well taken. We got a lot of appreciation for our online classes, for the effort that the teachers had put. We used email, we used WhatsApp groups, we used school ERP systems and telephones, mobiles, etc. Now I'll come to some of the tools, technology that you can use. One is Padlet. The other is Google Classroom Question, Mentimeter, Google Search, YouTube, newspaper and e-publication, Seesaw app, then Google Hangout or Zoom. You can use the chat feature to ask questions. Screencastify, it is a Chrome extension, and you can share videos directly from Google Drive. Screencastify helps in recording as well. Then QuickTime and YouTube, you can create your online playlists, and you are like how we open our textbook and we plan our lesson. Here you have to open the technology and you have to arrange it in order to teach a particular lesson at that very time. So you can create your online playlist, Edpuzzle, engage student around your video content with questions and monitor their progress. So you can use Edpuzzle for that. Flipgrid allows students to teach each other concepts by recording videos. So you can record your video and you can explain it to the, peer learning is again a very important thing that can happen through Google Slides. In fact, all the experiential learning strategy that we are learning in the various CBSE workshop and, which is being communicated these days is all being done through all these different tools. And when we have to evaluate, you can share Google Docs, Slides, Sheets, Flipgrid, Quizlet, and Kahoot. I always feel that formative assessments are most important assessment, while summative assessment tests you more, in the end of the term exam. But how well the children are doing, for that we have different types of technology, like quizzes, video reflections, digital exit tickets, Google Classroom, Seesaw, Flipgrid, Khan Academy, Math and Science, and Socrative. So these are all various tools that you can use, especially for formative assessments. And the big assessment we are yet to do, and we are planning, our exam department is really planning extensively for that, and hopefully we should be able to conduct that smoothly as well. Now here I would like to invite Nidhi to tell us a little bit about teaching social science. I'll just adjust my screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll just go ahead. Yes, Nidhi.
Yes, a very good evening to everybody once again. So as all the teachers and principal ma'am has explained the various stages through which we progressed taking our online classes, virtual classes. So in this situation, with the subjects like math, science, EVS, there were a lot of activities. Math involves a lot of practice that keeps the child alert because they're involved in doing something. When we talk about science, again, it keeps the child involved because they have a lot of experiments and other stuff to do. But when it comes to theoretical subject like social studies, which is more of a lecture method wherein the teacher is doing the most of the talking and children are just listening, sometimes it becomes a big challenge, very challenging, that how to involve the child in such a situation. In this kind of a setup wherein everything is virtual and we are not physically meeting with the children, there are various strategies that I have researched on and have tried to include in my lessons, which made my lessons quite interesting, interactive, at the same time knowledge giving. Children were quite involved. At the same time, they did not find the subject boring anymore, and they find it very interesting because there was various tools that was used for them to have the real-time experience of actually visiting those places which the teacher is talking about in the chapter. So I'll quickly take you through one of the presentation that I have made and how I have made it very interactive by using one of the tool. I will quickly show you and take you through it. And in fact, you can incorporate such tools, such techniques in your lessons and make it interactive, wherein the child is actively involved and you can assess the child, the kind of involvement that child is showing in the chapters. So, ma'am, can we have that small PPT that I have made on one of the social studies?
All right. Can you see it or not? You can't see it.
Yes, we can see it, ma'am. I am on the first page.
Okay.
This is the chapter that I've picked up from Social Studies, Grade 6 History. So when we progress, this is a Google slide, a Google feature that I have used to make the chapter on it, and the entire explanation of the chapter is not done from the book or anywhere else. It is done in this Google slide form. So if we progress with the slides, we'll see on the next slide that I'll just let you Yeah, so this is the information that I have, hunter-gatherers and what all things I want to discuss with the students in pointers. Keep it short and simple. Try to have more of pictures so that they can visualize. And moving on to the, yes, ma'am, please, just a back. Yeah, this is the feature I was talking about, and I'll quickly let you know what this is. In Google Slide, we have a feature called, or an add-on tool called Peer Deck. Now, what Peer Deck does is, in real-time situation, when you are taking and you are presenting your screen to the students and you're taking a concept, at the same time, when you will have this screen on your system, children will have the same screen on their system. The best part about this feature is, now like you have introduced the topic to the students, so you can make it interactive by having this feature. List down any two things you already know about today's topic. So there are two things, two sections wherein child can write, can draw that he or she already knows about today's topic that is being taken up, and in real time situation as a teacher, you can actually view it on your screen that what the child has responded in real time. So this feature allows you that, and there are various type of questions that can be used. In further slides, I'll let you know. So this is one. Again, I have some piece of information to give. This is again a slide wherein I want my child to interact with me. What do you wonder about today's topic? And in real time on students interface, a text box will appear wherein the child can type in the answer, what he or she feels about today's topic, and that can be seen by the teacher in real time. So this will enable you to keep a check whether the child is actively listening, because when you are taking classes virtually through Zoom app or through Google Meet, or putting the video off in an off mode. So the teacher would not know whether the child is alert or not. But yeah, with this feature, with this kind of a thing, if you have in place, you can always check the child is alert and he is responding to the question being asked by you. If we move further in the slides, there are a few more templates. Again, some piece of information that you gave, and you want the child's alertness you want to check on the child's alertness. Quickly put a question like this, and you will check. So on student's interface, student can point towards true or false or whatever he feels. It's not an assessment that I'm taking, but I'm trying to make my lesson very interactive and to check on the alertness of the child while I'm delivering the concept. If we move further to the slides, we will see some more types of questions. So here, if you can see on one, yeah, like I showed the picture of a cave painting, and I want to know whether it is a literary. Here I have introduced, and then I have this, and again, a question popped up for child, that whether is it a literary source or an archaeological source of history. Cave paintings that we get to see in Paleolithic time, or by early humans have drawn it on the cave rock shelters and everywhere. So this is how you can check. This feature allows you to do. So I tried incorporating this feature in my presentation while I'm taking my virtual classes. So this is one thing. Another thing that we can use, and which comes very handy, is the use of Google Forms. So, which is again a feature, very interesting feature of Google, which is called Google Forms. How Google Form becomes handy as a teacher is, while you are delivering a concept, imagine, or you want to quickly take an assessment of the children week-wise, fortnightly, also as a recapitulation of the concept. Maybe if it is a 40 minutes class that you have taken, 45 minutes class, and 20 minutes is the concept delivering through videos, through Google Slides, and then you quickly want to check whether the child has understood or not, and you want to take a quick assessment. What you can use is Google Form. I'll quickly show how it looks and how it can come handy. Just a minute. Even Google Forms will come very handy and useful if you plan out your assessments, your quizzes on it. It gives you multiple types of questions that can be asked by the children, and it is done online. So I'll let you know once I have the screen in front of me.
I will just share the screen for the form. Just a minute, Vidhi.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yeah,
Can you all see?
Yes, ma'am. That's visible. This feature is called Google Form. You can have a form in front of you wherein there is a name section. Below that, you can see that there are types of questions I have feeded in. So there are few multiple choice question, there are few short answer type question, there can be fill in the blanks form, true and false form, and the best part about it is you can use these forms for your assessment, like your proper assessment. If you want to take a test at the end of the chapter, you can use. Otherwise, on a daily basis, how you can use this tool is at the end of the class, and you want to check the alertness, whether throughout the session, throughout the class, whether students were alert enough to understand the concept of not, just quickly have 4 or 5 questions here and ask them to answer. Once they answer, ask them to submit. There were some settings that can be done from a teacher's end. If you want to restrict them from using certain things, there are a lot of settings on this form that one can do, and ask them to submit it, and you can see the response, and immediately you will get to know that how much concept has been absorbed by the student and were they able to understand it. How, again, it is helpful is while you are using this, again, it makes your lessons interesting. They have something to do. They are not just listening, and this is learning by doing happening here. So they are not just listening and you talking and they listening. This is not happening. They're actually doing something. At the same time, another purpose this serves is immediately it gives you a picture that how much the student have understood, and if in case the topic need to be re-explained depending upon the response of the quiz that you get. So this is another feature. Now, one thing that we miss in a virtual setting is the class boards, maybe the blackboards, whiteboards that we use in the class that we immediately use to draw something, maybe write in pointers for them to see. So there's another feature called Jamboard, a Google feature, which will exactly work for you like a class board, like a board that we have in class, wherein we quickly draw the diagram and we quickly explain children. What I do is I roughly draw the diagram of Indian map in case I want them to show something. So Jamboard is another feature. I'll let you know how it looks like. So it will just appear. Other than that, there are two things that I would like to tell you that will really come handy when you are planning your theoretical subjects like social studies, political science, history, and all this. These features really come handy. Even for science, you can use these features and they are really helpful. If you want them to visit some science centers, there are a few things that I'll be telling you. Let's quickly see Jamboard, how it looks like. So yeah, this is Jamboard, and this is how you can quickly draw the diagram of anything and can explain. So yes, this is a pen button that you can use. It is like a whiteboard that can be used instantly to write anything, to draw anything, and make them understand then and there. So this is another feature. Now I was talking about taking them. What I do is when I teach social studies, or when I used to learn social studies in my school days, it never used to go into my head unless I see it. Listening would never help me. I want to see it myself, and I was a visual kind of a learner wherein I wanted to see things first and understand. So yes, again, here is a feature called Google Earth. It can instantly take you to any place in the world and can make you see where it exists. I'll show you how it works. As I was talking about this history chapter, wherein I wanted my student to know about Paleolithic sites in India, and we are fortunate that we have one Paleolithic site very near to us, which is Bhimbedka near Bhopal. So when I was teaching this chapter to the students, I actually took them to Bhimbedka instantly, and I made them see those rock shelters, the cave paintings where early human used to live, and how they're living. And this gave them a lot of idea. Moreover, they were too excited to see actually, because many of the students have not seen it, and then listening it that okay, early humans used to live in rock shelters and they used to draw and paint. So this is Google Earth, and you can simply type wherever you want to go to. This is a Google feature that we have in place. Share your screen with the students and let them see this. So Bhimbedka is a Paleolithic site I'm taking you to. Simply type in the search button. Instantly it will take you to that part of the world. Here is a little message, information related to Bhimbedka if you in case. So see how it is taking you. That's India, and it will quickly take you there in real time. Let's see how it works. So we are coming to the center of the India, the heart of the India, which is Madhya Pradesh. This is the aerial view of rock shelters. And there are many features at the right-hand side you can see wherein you can actually take a street view. So if you click on the street view, you can actually get into those streets and look at around. See this. These are the rock shelters, cave paintings, and you can move your cursor around and you can show them how it looks. So this is how we can even take them on a virtual tours. So this is not just Bhimbetka, any part of the world the child can be taken to and can given a insight about it. So these are the few things I have tried into my social studies class, and I have got very good responses. Children have started loving the subject, and that's the best thing for me. So this is it from my end. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nidhi, so much. And coming back to the presentation. Yes, so now after the tools that we have shared and, something social science that Nidhi had discussed, like that, each subject teachers have worked and we have discussed and we've seen what is the best thing to use. And literally we have experimented with a lot of things. Tool and technology is one thing, but social and emotional well-being during this crisis is a very, very important factor which we cannot neglect at all. So building a strong connect with students is very, very important. So one is that we teach and learn, but at the same time, we also connect with the students, how was your day? What did you do? How did you spend your time? So this was something that the teachers would constantly chat with them. Then the teachers' well-being. In fact, a lot of studies are being concerned and research says that in COVID-19 crises, women are the worst affected. They have to work at home at the same time they have to do their jobs. So both things put together is very, very heavy on women. And it is important that we think about teachers' well-being also and give students in between to have break rooms to chat and enjoy with each other, allow creative expressions as much through art, different activity videos, provide them with opportunity to build life skills. I remember some of, my science teacher, she was teaching I think sedimentation and she actually got them to make few things, including making tea. So the children had made tea and they had sent their videos to the teachers, feeling very proud that they can do this on their own. So building life skills and encouraging them to do things, it's really, really very important to do that. And of course, physical exercise, yoga, and meditation is extremely important for our mental wellness. And we constantly included different PE exercises, Zumba, different types of exercises, yoga and meditation, videos which we had sent, and online classes that our activity teachers took. While all this is fantastic, but I think the core of everything is empathy and sensitivity. And we have constantly used these two important virtues as our guiding principles to teach offline, teach online. With that, I think I will end my presentation, Mr. Dalmia, and we are now open to different questions.
So there were a lot of questions coming up. There was one query, how to use Google Classroom. We need to have a different session for that. Because,
that is a very, very heavy training.
Yeah.
And I would always say that Nidhi, Kamakshi and all are smiling because they all have been, they've been going through this heavy ordeal of learning. But yes, I can tell you the basic principle is learning by doing. जो हम बच्चों को बोलते हैं, the same thing. We learn by doing, as much as we, I have been experimenting with my laptop like anything. clicking buttons here and there, and you see, oh wow, you can do this and you can do that. So our approach has to be learning by doing. And Google Classroom, there are a lot of different videos and a lot of different things that you can do. It's not like a tutorial, where we show it on the screen and you have understood it. It can't happen like that. So what I would suggest is that you should all be in your laptops and in your devices and learning it, simultaneously, that now you press this, now you press that, how the computer teacher teaches you. That is the way. I think all the schools, like all of you who belong to different schools, tell your IT department to train you well. And you can also play with it. It's a very good feature, and you can work on Google Classroom.
Now the query is about maths. Ma'am, how do you teach maths to higher classes as well as middle school? This is another query. If anything can be given in short, briefly about...
See, maths also, there are several tools. And as you had asked us to explain social science, I could have invited the maths teacher also.
Okay.
We have been using, again, several online videos, Khan Academy, and the teacher has been using her own blackboard at home and writing all the equations and everything. And now we are trying to use certain kind of tools to put the maths equations and get them to do. The challenge has been to check once the children have done everything. So they write on their notebook, they click images and send them on WhatsApp. This is where Google Classroom and other features are really, really useful. I was talking about Seesaw as an app. If you have the image, received in Seesaw, it is possible for you to even correct it like a notebook in Seesaw. So that is one thing. But yes, I think in primary classes, as well as middle classes, there are a lot of things available at home that can help you understand different maths concepts. And I think the maths teachers need to work on what is immediately available at home, cylindrical shape or any other shape, or, to explain. You just have to be a little more, I would say, creative in doing that.
Okay, so some queries about how to use Padlet. We will conduct a session where we'll actually make you to play with Padlet. And वो हम करेंगे. So it will take about half an hour to minimum it will take, because we'll send you the link. You can also send your responses, so we can have an interactive session on Padlet later on, because these are certain questions which you have queries. It's will take some time. Okay.
I would say one thing.
Yeah.
And this is what I tell my teachers also. I say, go there and do it.
Yes.
It's like open the Padlet app, start playing with it. Become a child, start playing with it. Keep doing things. Keep clicking the YouTube videos and find out if you get stuck. You keep doing. Because as I told you, for all technology learning, the learning by doing principle will work more than any specific. But yes, we can definitely do that as well. Yes.
No, that's fine. As ma'am said, Padlet is you'll enjoy doing it. It's very simple. But yes, initially you have to spend some time for any part of technology. So, somebody has asked, is the Jamboard a Google product? Jamboard is Google product. Yeah.
Yes,
you can use in Google Classroom as well, and it is easily compatible to any of the Google platform.
Yes,
so
yes.
That is very true. There's no issue.
You can download the app.
Yeah.
And you can use it.
So, and then the tools which you're asking, somebody was asking ki, Nidhi ma'am, aapne jo session liya tha, usme wo questions the ki, can you repeat those names of the tools that you used? Yeah.
Google Slide. I make all my class presentation and concept presentations using Google Slide, wherein there is an add-on tool called Peer Deck. Peer Deck allows you for the students and teacher to interact with with each other in real time. So you just have to click. There are two interfaces. One is the teacher interface and one is the student interface. So if you have put up a question to check on the alertness of the child, you can place one slide using Peer Deck, ask a question, and you can immediately see the response. So this way you will be able to know. Then Google Earth is one way wherein you can take them to any place, a virtual tour to any place on the earth. And even a street view wherein you can actually get into the streets and see the surrounding, like I did for rock shelters. So these are few tools that I have started incorporating, and I'm still researching. So let's see what new I'll find.
So the
Yeah.
Peer Deck basically again is a Google extension feature. If you go to Google Slides, and when you're making your Google slide and you go to the add-on feature, in the add-on, several apps will come. You have to click the Peer Deck and that will get added on to your Google slide. And while you're making your Google slide, you can add that to, add the Peer Deck to it.
Okay, so yeah, what are the other queries? A lot of questions out there. So,
As I feel, as I had explained in one of my slides, you should do backward planning to select technology. Fine. If you are thinking, I want to explain something. If I'm explaining something, what is the best tool for me to use? If I am evaluating something, what is the best tool to use? If I have to interact with the students in a certain way and see that they are paying attention or not, then what is the tool that I should use? So when you are planning, if you try and incorporate these questions and ask, then it is possible for you to come up with, I'm sure there is so much technology, we have also discovered like that. There is so much technology, you can come up with a lot of different features and make learning fun.
definitely, ma'am. There is no end to that. And ma'am, there's one question ki practical subjects means which require handling of apparatus and chemicals and specimen and slides. Is it possible somehow in online classes, or that part is completely off? Means
Yeah, that is a very tricky question, and
Yeah.
we are still looking for different ways to do that. While you can demonstrate it through video and you can do a lot of things, but having the apparatus and doing it is something which we'll have to do in the real lab. But let's see, how technology, we do have these artificial intelligence or the virtual augmented reality kind of apps that can be used there. However, you need to feel it, you need to touch it, and you need to, pour one chemical to the other to see. So that might be a little challenging. And that is where we have to emerge, to face the challenge and modify the syllabus, modify the lesson. The CBSE is working heavily on modifying a lot of things. Syllabus is going to be reduced, so you all don't need to worry so much.
Exactly. And ma'am, is there any way, because your school is definitely an urban school and the clientele, the students that you have come from that family, but there's a query where the parents don't have Android or device. Is there any way where we can engage? Is it any time you have come across some situation or you have tried to sort it out?
See, it's not possible that all parents or all students will have laptops at home or PCs at home, and it becomes a little difficult.
Yes.
And however, I feel mobile these days, a smartphone is a very, very useful device. You can do a lot of things in that as well. But now, in fact, I was reading that a lot of, these Tata Sky Learning and the National School, CBSE, and like Diksha app, and all of them have these online virtual classes which can be seen from your TV screens, your television. So that can also happen. Yes, the mobile device is the easiest you can be connected. WhatsApp is the easiest you can be connected.
Okay, so that is there. And anything, about any evaluation, ma'am? Anything about evaluation?
So evaluation, I would actually put in two ways. One is your periodical assessments that you do. This is where you can come up with lots and lots of tools, you know. For example, the Jamboard also has a feature where you can put sticky notes on it. So you use a common Jamboard and you can ask children, you know, like after you finish a chapter, you can take an exit ticket from the chapter by actually knowing what you have done. So the teacher can ask you questions and the child can put it on sticky notes and paste it on the Jamboard. And everybody can see it, as well as the teacher gets an idea how well the student has understood. We need to always remember teachers are really, I know even my teachers are like that. They really want the assessment to go on time and, you know, to give the marks on time. And our whole concentration is on the scheduling, the timing, the checking, making the report cards. But if we go to the main goal of assessment, it is basically to see how well the child has understood. And your periodical assessment is a way that you're going to understand it at different levels. So if you finish one chapter, maybe you can ask them to, use Google Forms or Google Docs, make quizzes, ask them oral expression of this thing, classroom discussion, portfolio, project base. I think CBSE has come up with so many different experiential learning ideas, which can be easily translated online. So I think one can take that very easily. So that is for the periodical. Yes, for the big test, where there is invigilator seeing whether the child is doing or not. We are all working on it. And we have also, we are yet to conduct a big exam. And once we do it, we will be happy to share with you how, we have managed to crack this.
Wonderful.
But this is something you can do. Like, I think Google Slide, for example, if you use Google Slide, and let's say you time them, 5 questions in 20 minutes, and you show them only those and make them to write that and send the image immediately. Yes, it is much more cumbersome, but we have to emerge and rise to the occasion. So I think it's something which we really need to work on.
Nice, ma'am. So I think कि हिंदी टीचिंग को प्रभावी बनाने हेतु टिप्स.
हिंदी में तो आप कहानियों से बच्चों को बिल्कुल एब्जॉर्ब कर सकते हैं. अलग अलग कहानियां और आपके ग्रामर, जैसे आप इंग्लिश और बाकी सब्जेक्ट में करते हैं, वैसे ही आप हिंदी में भी गूगल स्लाइड बनाइए. और थोड़ा सा आप अपने आप को थोड़ा क्या बोलते हैं, हम सब थोड़े ओपन हो गए हैं टेक्नोलॉजी के टुवर्ड्स, तो थोड़ा हमारा माइंडसेट वैसा होगा तो हमें बहुत सारे टूल्स ऑटोमेटिकली मिल जाएंगे. हमारे हिंदी टीचर्स ने भी बहुत सारे गूगल स्लाइड्स वगैरह बनाए हैं जिससे बच्चों को बहुत मजा आ रहा है पढ़ने में. हिंदी पढ़ने में बहुत ज्यादा मजा आ रहा है.
So I think we need to end this session, and definitely I would request Jayashree ma'am if some other time she can spare, because it is not easy to come out with time these days. It is so difficult, and even the panelists who have spared themselves after teaching the school and everything, and they are again here in the evening sharing with you. And I'm so thankful to the entire team of GD Goenka Indore. They have been wonderful people. And I must tell you that it was just a simple request to Jayashree ma'am, and she was so keen, she eager and sharing with you all. And she said that yes, anything for teachers, because she can feel she has also been a teacher. and then she can feel that how the other teachers must be feeling about it, and sharing with them would definitely be motivating them and kept making them, enabling them to do the things. So thank you so much, and thank you all of you so much, the entire GD Goenka team, and they have been doing such a wonderful job. And I
Thank
could
you,
see,
sir.
yeah, you
Thank
have
you.
covered all range of tools. Miss Flipkart was there, the Padlet was there, the Google Classroom. So I don't think that the GD Goenka school has left any tool untouched that could have been possible. That every teacher has been using so many tools, and then we have just 3 of them. So if the 30 would have been there, so we could have been talking about endless session. So thank you so much, ma'am, and such a valuable session.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, Jayashree ma'am would be talking to humanities students. Anybody interested in career in humanities, she has another session tomorrow with other panelists. And she herself is a psychologist, practicing psychology teacher, with a lot of experience as a principal. She would have a wonderful session tomorrow as well.
Thank
It's
you
I
so
from
much.
Jayashree, madam.
Thank
My
you,
pleasure. My
thank
pleasure.
you, and
you.
and I hope you use all the online technology and let us know how it was. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.